Okay, I wanted to try a quicker one. I say that. Before tonight's Shadow of the Dragon Queen game. So I wanted to try to analyze one of the other characters that I'm not playing in this party in this game that's been running for a while. So I'm gonna analyze Adama Solar in the Smirkian analysis paradigm. So, I just put out one of these, so I'm not going to fully explain everything, all the fears and stuff again. So, pretty much just going to go into it. And I think the fears that most closely align with Adama would probably be, like, maybe this, well, I'll go the definite ones first. So, the flesh, and I'll list them first. Probably the flesh, maybe the desolation, because he is very afraid of losing all of his connections. He's not so much, he doesn't seem to be as afraid of like losing family and that type of stuff, but he's very afraid of losing his place as a knight, it seems like. That's what he values the most. Then not the hunt, probably not the slaughter or anything like that. He aligns with the watched, because similar reasons he aligns with the flesh. So I'll go into those two first. So the main reason he aligns with the flesh is, well, basically body dysmorphia. He was reincarnated as a hobgoblin when he's a human. So his body no longer aligns with his mental projection of himself. That's pretty standard body dysmorphia 101. Like, come on. Like right there, that's one of the reasons he's always hiding himself, because he doesn't want to be seen, which is the watched. And, for very similar reasons, but just he doesn't want anyone to know he's a hobgoblin and not a human, because that would most likely lead to him being kicked out of the Knights and maybe killed. Which I guess in some ways can align with the hunt or maybe the slaughter, but probably still aligns with the flesh, because he would be seen just for who he is physically, just a hobgoblin, regardless of who he is, quote, inside, or who he actually is. So he's kind of there trying to make a heroic name for himself, accomplish stuff, so that when it does eventually come to light that he's a hobgoblin, and I think he knows deep down that eventually it'll be found out. He can't hide it forever, unless he can undo it before then. He can find a way to reverse it. But, so, very similar origin points for the aligning with the flesh and the watched. While he isn't being watched all the time, he is afraid of being watched and being seen for who he is physically. I'm not sure what else he might align with besides the desolation, partially because if he is found out, he could lose everything. And then there's also the looming threat of the Red Dragon army in Takesis, just wiping everything out. That's pretty simple. I'm not sure exactly what other fears he might align with. Let's see. Let's just go down. I'm just going to go down the list real quick, because I knew I had those two out the gate, but I'm not sure what else super closely aligns with him. Like, not the dark, not really the end. He has died before, but he's never really talked about it, and it doesn't really come up, so not the feet, not the dark, not the end, not the corruption. That's never been a thing. Haven't really talked about that. It hasn't come up. not the vast, not the buried. But, and a lot of these things are because, especially if you're not playing the character, you don't have their internal monologue and their internal thought process. So you can only really go by what they kind of interact with. Not the hunt, not maybe the web. Nah, not really. There's no like big grand weaver of fate and anything like that. So, and I definitely want to get back to do Senlir again, because there's been some really big developments since I recorded that first one for him. But yeah, I'm not really sure what else besides the flesh and the watched, really, and a touch of the desolation. What else? I mean, I guess you could tie the extinction into, like, with the fear of the Red Dragon army, but I think desolation works well enough right there. Yeah, there's not a whole lot else that I can really think of for him. But I mean, okay, that's the end of the road for Adama, and in this analysis paradigm, I can't think of anything else. So while I still have some time, let's go into one of the other long-time characters, Kerma. He's the Tortle Druid, follower of whatever the nature god is in the setting. I can never remember the nature god, because it's just defaults to, oh, it's like Melora in Forgotten Realms. I think it's Melora. I don't know. Maybe I just watched too, because in Critical Role it's Melora, they use Melora, but they use some Pathfinder gods in there, so I don't know. It doesn't matter. I think a big part is because Kerma never announces the god's name out loud, so I don't remember it. Anyway, so the main thing with Kerma is that he's a druid, so he does druid things. He's outside of civilization and some other things, but now he's a werebear, so that's very obviously the corruption right there. Well, the corruption and the flesh and the hunted, or in the hunt, those three right there, because the corruption usually deals with insects and diseases, but in a world where curses exist, you could easily extend that to curses, but there isn't the usual kind of more disgusting element of the corruption there. It's almost, it pretty cleanly overlaps with the flesh, because your flesh turns into something else, something you don't want, something you aren't, or something you don't want to be. So there's that. Simple, the flesh, you're turning into something else, something you aren't. And then the hunt, when Kerma changes into a werebear, he'll be kind of forced or compelled, or whatever you want to call it. If it's a different mind, however you might want to understand lycanthropy as a curse, you'll be forced to hunt and attack those you love. So, betray those you love. And they may betray you out of their self-preservation instinct, which, fun fact, this has happened before with Kerma. The first time we transformed, we killed him. Because the only player that noticed, or I won't say player, the only character that noticed decided not to say anything, and then we just killed him. And I don't know what the thought process was, but that happened. So I think those three fears pretty clearly align with Kerma as he is now. The hunted, or the hunt, the fear, and touch of the corruption, because of the way curses work. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I got for this video. Yeah, the rest of the characters in the party we haven't been around long enough to really analyze. the next set of these videos, I'll start to analyze the rest of the party from the Second Coming of the Night Parade game. But these characters were kind of more in my head because we got the game tonight, and the last of these types of videos I did was for my character in this game. So that's why I did this one. But yeah, that's all I got for you today.